the orchestration capability extension I've built into the SDN feature of Proxmox as of version 9.03 is what I've been targeting. Under SDN we have obviously zones, which in a networking world I would equate to a VRF, as well as VNets, which are the networking definitions typically attached to these zones. Under options I've added in this orchestrator panel here, and I've implemented capabilities around the orchestrators and switching and routing platforms I currently have access to. So I can add in configuration details for the AMD Pensando PSM, which is a micro-segmentation and security management platform. Aruba Fabric Composer, which is HP Aruba Networking's data center networking on-prem management solution. Some MikroTik Routers and some Aruba CX Switches. All of these are implemented by some Backend Daemons through a REST API. But this panel is really just maintaining the lifecycle of the orchestrator's configuration file. So I've placed this into the SDN directory. So really these panels are just maintaining maintain these files, right? So if I come through here, really all I'm doing is maintain these configuration options for each of the different platforms that are supported. So PSM, AFC, MikroTik, and Aruba CX switching. So having the details around the credentials to log in, options around SSL verification, and some other specific platform options as well. Things like reserve VLANs, reserve VRFs, reserve zone names, things that we don't want potentially to touch or influence on these upstream platforms as well. So VLAN ranges would be pretty critical to things like that as well. Obviously, it would be beneficial to tie into the credential server, I think, inside Proxmox. We don't have to have passwords exposed in this file, but this is really just the initial proof of concept I kicked off this week. So I can have these platforms here. These are really just, this is just maintain the configuration file, and Backend Daemons I have running, there's 4 of them, actually 5 of them, really monitoring these configuration files for what they should be looking at and how often they should be polling as well. So if I look at the MikroTik here, every 30 seconds, let's change that to say 20 seconds. So that's now being changed inside this file. So I should be able to see 20 seconds is the new polling interval. I can change this to, let's be pretty aggressive here, get it to 15. Right, so that's now changed. So the Backend Daemons I have running are simply monitoring this file for changes, and they will then act on that. So those daemons could be doing anything. So the other thing I've done is I've implemented some options, another option around the VNets. So a VNet in this case here, we have the option to add orchestration. So if this isn't ticked, my backend scripts will be looking at, let's go look at the VNet configuration. So having orchestration value configured here would influence what those daemons could do. Do we want to orchestrate this VLAN to an upstream platform or not? If I tick yes to orchestration, then it should get pushed to that as well. So let's do VLAN 111. Let me put that into my default VRF. I'm going to tick this isolate ports option. We'll dig through that as well. So it's going to create that. Now, because it's now gone and added this file entry into here, we have the isolate ports option set, which is obviously a new feature in, I think, 8.3. Orchestration is now set to 1 as well. So I've tried to maintain the Proxmox configuration file format. You'll see that the MikroTik has now picked up this here, and it has set the entry to local proxy up. So if we're using isolate ports option inside the VNet, then we need to be able to switch between different VMs on the same VLAN. So local proxy up will allow that to happen, so we can steer traffic through that platform as well. So I should better come in here and tick this off. If we wait, 15 seconds, we should see that this will change back as well. Now I can log into my CX switch over here. Look at the VLANs we have. It's pushed it to this CX switch. I could have one switch, I could have multiple, and really we can come here and figure this as well. Have a look, we've got the VLAN configured. So this really allows the upstream network operators to configure or apply these to trunk ports. Right, so that's now changed here as well. So by setting orchestration isolate ports option here. Obviously that changes the configuration of the bridge inside the Proxmox host, but it also can now change what we see on here as well. So now it's set it back to local proxy up. So those two VMs will be able to talk to each other. Those networks are also getting pushed into other platforms. I've disabled the AFC component because that's also connected to the same switch. Actually, I don't think it is, but it's broken right now because I don't have any switches under its management. Now I also have this PSM management platform here under networks. I see the VLANs here. This is a micro-segmentation management platform, specifically for a very specific type of smart switch. Now it also has VRFs pushed to it as well, so I can come in here and create a VRF or a zone, add a new. It's only tied to the VLAN zones, so we'll call this customer. See, this is why we need to extend this zone naming beyond 8 characters, in my opinion. And we'll add that. So we'll see customer C will appear over here as well shortly. So right now we've got this platform here. The orchestration panel is the JavaScript, are pretty straightforward. Maintains the lifecycle of different vendors' orchestration platforms, and would be pretty easy to be extended into different platforms. It could be Cisco or Juniper or some other orchestration platform, even a cloud platform, to send information into it. So this is now being created here. So I could create a new VNet here under and attach it to that customer C. Take these things here as well. Right. And that will appear inside there as well. Now the other thing I'm trying to achieve is to make sure that we have visibility of these containers and VMs from every Proxmox host pushed into platforms as well. So having this information retrieved through the REST API on Proxmox and then pushed into platforms as well. So by having this information get pushed into, in this case, PSM, okay, this one's got IP addresses attached to it. So if we look at container CT3, we'll see we have these instances here. So I could go through and add another one, Ethernet 2, put that onto, let's put it onto this one. I'm not going to configure a VLAN, we're going to put it onto, let's just make up an address, 0.24. Okay, so that's now pushed that into the container. Here's the MAC address, obviously the IP address, container 2. We'll have to wait a bit for it to turn up. The polling intervals here are set. I think I went through this before, but we'll just have a look at the PSM polling interview. So it's every 45 seconds. Obviously that could be platform dependent on how aggressive you want that to be. I've written a separate daemon that runs in the background that is collecting information about all the containers and the virtual machines, collating up the interfaces they're connected to, the MAC addresses and their IP addresses, whether they are statically defined as a container or they're being learnt through the guest agent as well, and using this information to populate into these platforms. So come on, let's get this in here. Plus we need to turn this firewall option off as well at some point. It's going to clash with, but that's a separate story. Why is it not appearing on here yet? It's possible my agent's not running in the background actually. I wonder how often that runs. So this is really crucial to try and get this orchestration coordinated across different platforms from different vendors. And then we can use this information to start building, in this case, security policy, using it for telemetry, using it for logging into different platforms as well, and having it all coordinated through through Proxmox has been the master of record for these platforms. So I'm going to leave it there. I'll revisit this. I think there's the daemon in the background is not updating or running properly, but that's fine. This is really to push the idea and this agenda around having this orchestration capability built into the SDN options, so we can have agents from different vendors that allow this to feed information into these platforms. Hope this is a good feature I'm looking at adding here or suggesting. I'm happy to debate and have discussions around this. Thanks. Bye.